when we were thank you, Ziri. Perfect. So glad you guys are on here, but just telling stories before we get started. Back when we were in full-time practice, um every Halloween time or whatever in October, the staff all dressed up. We had like dress up days in the office. And then we would one of the rules was whatever you dressed up like as like it was like either the Thursday or the Friday of Halloween week. We went to lunch as the whole staff in our costumes. Like, and we took an extended lunch and we would go to this big restaurant. We made a big deal and walked in like a bunch of goofballs and was super loud and all the stuff. And I missed it. I was like, man, like we had one girl that worked for us that showed up and she made a custom uterus like costume. Like she was a giant uterus with a or no, she wasn't, she was a placenta. Like she was a giant placenta because
Oh
we had a
my
birth
gosh.
office and she had an umbilical cord coming off of her and she had like put all these veins on it. She was like this giant
Uh-uh.
placenta. Oh my gosh. It
Uh-uh.
was hysterical. Her name was Joyce. So yeah, we had all kinds of stuff.
That's
And then we
wild.
would see patients in costume, new patients and everything. I mean, I think back and I'm like, man, how hard would it have been for new patients to even pay attention? I don't even know, you know, for people to even do that. I know one guy, I was wearing a Monsters Inc. outfit and I had it on. I was Sully and I had this whole thing on and I'm asking him questions and everything. And he finally goes, he's like, Doc, he's like, I'm sorry. He goes, I can't take you serious right now. He goes, I don't even know what to do. He goes, because I can't really look at you and you're asking me all these serious questions and I'm taking notes. I go, well, I said, we see a ton of kids in here. And I'm like, you're either gonna like have fun with it or you should probably find a more boring office somewhere. And he's like, yeah, I guess I'll roll with it today. We'll see what happens. So it was hilarious.
Oh man. That's awesome.
Okay, well, let's get rolling. We have a couple more people log on. I realize 9:30. We've done these at all times. All different times. Hey Brandy. But as we throw on these webinars and do different stuff to give everybody information, I mean, the information will stay. We're going to send out recordings. We'll make sure that you get the information on it. And we're also what we'll do is we're going to take because I've got quite a few notes here to go through, and I'm going to take my time on this. So we'll spend the better part of an hour, maybe a little bit over, going through a lot of this stuff. But there's no way you're going to be able to take notes on all these different things because I'm not going to. I'll slow down a little bit, but I want to go through all of it because I want to steer your time, and I also just want to give you a ton of information. So what we'll do, this is Chase. Chase helps me make sure that all of my things are organized and awesome. And every time that you get online and you're like, wow, that was organized, it was Chase. Or Chase and
Or if it
Nick.
was, wow, that was not organized.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
Chase also.
yeah. When you say, man, that was the wrong link, that was also Chase probably, but then we fix it. Okay, so there's fair part of both of that. But after this, I've got the notes in here, and then we'll take the video and the notes, and we will create a follow-up notes PDF to send out to the people who are on the list. We're not going to post it online. I'm not going to send it out to my social, media, whateverville. But for you guys that get onto the webinar, as just a thank you for getting on, and so that you don't have to take notes on all this that close, I'll send it all out to you. And then, some of the different products I talk about, where to get them, or if you need to message us for them, any of that stuff, we're going to send you those things. So don't freak out as we go. We'll go through this now. I'll start this by saying that, Cindy and I have been in practice. Man, it makes me feel old. We have been in practice and we've been doing this. We've been teaching health and wellness and teaching the way the body works and systems and how to take care of your body for over 22 years. This is literally my 22nd Halloween season, flu season, to teach people how to stay healthy, literally. So, a better part of a quarter of a century, Chase, we have been teaching this thing and it's been amazing. And
Mm.
one thing that is interesting is, culture puts a ton of marketing into making sure that you do the things that are going to decrease your immunity so that you'll get sick, like during the fall. And this season, this time of the year, isn't called flu season because all of a sudden, it's not like migration. It's not like, like we have a pond out by our house and geese fly in every fall and it like fills up with all these geese because geese migrate this time of the year. It's not like that. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's October, flu just flew in, like flu and now COVID and strep throat and all this stuff just decided to winter here in the South or wherever you are, right? That's not what happens. But
Hmm.
that's what we're taught. We're taught that this time of the year is the time of the year that you should expect to get sick, which is strike number one. Number one thing that you can do for your health and wellness is to get your mindset around the fact that you know that your body was created perfectly on purpose to function at 100% 24/7, 365. And you are created with everything you need to function well. Now, if there's symptoms come up, if you get sick, if something happens, all these different things, all of that can totally happen. And it's not your body not functioning well, it's your body doing what it's designed to do. Now, there are things that will boost your immune system up, there are things that will tear your immune system down. There are things that we know are immune boosters, where there's things that we know that we can do in our lifestyle, take supplement wise, use in our diet that's going to help our body. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. But, the thing to really remember is that your body has everything that it needs and it is designed to heal itself, and your immune system is designed to handle all of the different things, right?
Hmm.
And we do a lot of stuff in culture that makes our immune system less, and this time of the year is the biggest on that. So we're going to talk about that just a little bit. But that was the first thing I want to talk about, is just the fact that I think that we succumb to this idea in this cultural, almost like ritual idea, that once it gets cold and right around the time that Halloween gets here and trick or treating happens, we're all supposed to start getting sick. And lo and behold, everybody does. And it's not because it all moved in, it's because we do the same things every year. We do consistent things incorrectly. We stop doing the things that we were doing right all summer long. And we expect it. And then all this stuff starts rolling in. So we're going to talk about part of that stuff. Now, the way the body is designed is there's only two things that are going to cause symptoms, and there's only two things that can make your immune system function less, period, out there. Only two things: toxicity and deficiency. So those are the only two things that you are going to actually get in contact with or do that can make your body not do what it's created to do. You're either gonna get toxic in something that you're not supposed to get. We'll talk about that in a minute. Or you're going to become deficient in something that you were designed to have, right? So if you get deficient in something good, your body can start to not function the way that it's designed to. Then you're going to get a symptom, or your immune system is going to dip, let's say 20, 30%. And again, like all day long, like we're doing stuff and we're around and doing all these things. You're around germs 24/7 all the time. The other day I talked about this on TikTok because I'm kind of just using TikTok as a ranting page right now, not really putting any real content on there. Not like for you guys on Instagram and Facebook, but I went in to get a massage because I'd had this congestion that had kind of settled into this ear, and I'd traveled, and so I couldn't hear out of this one ear. So I had some different neck stuff. So I walked into this massage therapist, and we have taught what we've taught and we believe what we believe for so long that when I walk in and somebody acts like this, it kind of shocks me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I go into this room with this massage therapist, and she's a sports massage therapist. She works at Lifetime Fitness, this big box gym. It ain't like she's not around people all the time. She's around people all the time. And most of those people are probably dealing with something, right? And she says, like, as we're getting started, she's like, hey, what's going on? Do I need to focus on anything? Or is this just kind of for relaxation? And I'm like, no. And I said, I've had this like congestion in my head. And she goes, whoa. And she backs up like this in the room. She goes, are you sick? And said, I'm like, no, like I'm not sick. I'm not carrying anything. I'm not running fever. I literally had the sun. And I'm trying to explain to her. She goes, well, I don't want to catch anything. And she does the whole thing. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I got so annoyed. And then she literally proceeded to go, well, I'll massage you, but I'm not touching your head and neck because I don't want to catch whatever it is that you've got. So she literally spent an hour and a half on everything but the problem that I had, literally. And I'm like, why am I paying for this? I should have just left. I don't know what I was thinking, but I think I wanted to just have the whole time to sit there and tell her why she was off on this theory. So I did. I talked to her about immunity the whole time. But the thing that I talked to her about was that we have this idea that we have been fed by a bunch of different, systems, some political systems, some medical systems, some actual like literal like monarchies over history have taught us that we get sick because this little germ like comes across and it jumps on us and our body just can't handle it and we get sick because of a germ. Now, the guy that started that theory was Louis Pasteur. He was a French scientist way back in the day, and he was studying rabies in dogs, right? So he takes, this kid that got bit by this dog. The kid gets rabies, blah blah blah, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's because of this germ." Which are there validity? Is there a point to you being around people that are sick that could be contagious? Sure, right. But does that always mean that that's why we get sick? And is that the prevailing thing that really happens? No, that's not. Now, at the time that Louis Pasteur was actually a scientist, the crazy thing is there was another scientist at the exact same time in the exact same years that his theory went viral, if you want to call it that, back in the day. And the other guy's name was Andrew Beecamp. And you need to read the book sometime if you're nerdy enough and you want to dig into this. It's called The Curse of Louis Pasteur. Now, B Camp comes onto the scene and he's like, who you're around matters, obviously, but he goes, that's not why we get sick at all. His theory, B Camp's theory, was called the terrain theory. And what he said was, he goes, okay, look, he said, obviously, germs are something that are out there. He goes, but it matters more the terrain of the person and how healthy their immune system is, whether or not they get sick or not the germs that they're around. Because his theory, he was like, well, if it was only about germs, and this is something I bring up all the time. I'm like, okay, that's just about germs, and it's just about something, floating in the wind. Then how come? Yeah, the curse of Louis Pasteur, exactly. Then how come you can have 20 people in a room, one person walks in sick, excuse me, and one person walks in sick, and you have 20 people in a room, two people get sick from that person and the other 18 don't, and they're all exposed to the same thing. They're all in the same airplane with this guy that's probably got fever. I mean, you were probably around sick people all week long and you didn't catch anything and the other people did. So if it's only about germs, we would get sick every single time. It's not. That's a factor, one little factor in it. The bigger factor as to how healthy we stay, especially when we're exposed to different things, is how healthy and how strong our immune system is, because we have different natural killer cells, cytotoxic T cells. We have all these different immune cells in our system that are literally designed to fight off everything. Now, the other thing that I teach a lot, and then what I want you to hear is, let's say that you do get symptoms, okay? Because like that happens, right? Like I got sinus stuff the other day and flu, and take some different stuff to be able to fight it off. Now, why is it healthy for you to naturally catch certain things? Because there's two different types of immunity, and I don't even have this in the notes. This is bonus, but I'm going to add it on here for your follow up. There's two different types of immunity. There is natural immunity, you catching certain things and you doing certain things to build up your immunity naturally. And we're going to give you a bunch of different little things in a second to build it up and to strengthen it. But you walking into a room and somebody breathing on you that's got something and you catching it and you getting symptoms and then you building up immunity, that is natural immunity. Okay. Like you sharing a sucker with somebody, is natural immunity. Now, there's the other side of that is artificial immunity. And artificial immunity is doing anything to try to shield our immunity without allowing our body to do it ourselves. So vaccinations, medications, masks, any of that stuff is artificial immunity, and there are some benefits to all of it, both sides. But when you're looking at the two different ones, and if you really get into looking at the science between the two, only one of those offers you lifetime immunity. Only one of those allows your body to create a memory to each thing that you're exposed to so that it fights it off quicker and creates almost like a catalog and a category of each individual antigen or germ or thing that you get exposed to. And that's natural immunity. If you use artificial immunity to work through any of the different stuff, whether it's childhood issues, adult, anything else, it's all temporary. Nothing lasts forever on that. There's side effects because there's also extra stuff in those different treatments, no matter what it is. And you're not allowing the body, right? You're not allowing the body to do what it's created to do. It's like the difference in working out to get strong and taking a steroid and just getting strong. You get strong both ways, But when you cheat the system and you get around it by doing something that the body didn't have to do to get there, then what ends up happening is the body doesn't create the strength and build up everything that needs to. So in the example of the working out, if I work out consistently over a long period of time and I get really strong, my muscles get big in proportion to the ligaments, in proportion to the tendons, in proportion to the bone gets thicker, the joints get stronger, the synovial fluid in my joint builds up. Like all the different things happen together so that if I'm doing all this bicep work, all of this gets stronger, right? But if I just inject a steroid into this bicep and the bicep gets insanely strong overnight, and I go to pick something up and I'm like, I'll literally, I mean, I had a patient literally in my office that it ripped the tendon like he was a bodybuilder and he used steroids. I'll never forget this. He came into the office after having surgery because he went and did this lift, and because his muscles were stronger than the bone because he was using steroids, it literally ripped the bone, the attachment off of the bone that his muscle was attached to because it had not strengthened together. So we had to repair his whole arm. He had to have like surgery. We worked on the recovery in conjunction with his PT and all this different stuff. Your immune system is the exact same way. Nothing done quicker is normally stronger and better. That's just not the way it works. That's not the way it works in the body. So having immune issues isn't this instantaneous thing. Now, you can have, I will say this, like when someone goes, man, I had such and such happen, the death of a loved one. I mean, let's talk about like the most stressful things ever, because the number one thing that's going to like really whack your immunity and just knock it down quickly is massive acute stress. So, like if you have something going on in this season and you lose someone you love, you go through something really stressful, loss of a job, like something really, really hard, that level of stress can drive your immune system down. Absolutely. And it can cause immune dysfunction and it can cause immune issues in you because your body's like, oh my gosh, it's trying to protect you from everything else. It's not worried about like your immune system. It'll drop it, right? That's one thing that can happen. The other thing is massive loss of sleep can cause quick immune system changes. Like if you end up, something happens and you don't sleep at all for 2 or 3 days straight or whatever, you can really see your immunity tank when you're doing that over a really short window of time because sleep is so important to the immune system. But most of the time, it's because we are consistently staying into stress and we're not helping our body handle it. We're not doing the things that we need to do. We're not resting enough. We're not going outside. We're not doing the things to help our body handle the stress. We're also like consistently doing things in our diet, doing things with our sleep, all the things that we know that we shouldn't do, but we do a little bits at a time, and we don't feel that bad for it over the course of weeks or months. Then, when we do that over the course of weeks and months, and I'm going to give you some exact stuff, when we do it consistently, our immune system slowly goes down to the point where like if this is our water line, and let's say this is like our health level, where as long as we stay at this line, then our body can fight off everything and we're pretty well, but we're pretty good. We don't have a lot of symptoms and we're feeling good. Well, every little decision that we make that like drops us a little bit lower, once we go below that line and we start dipping into the negative, all of a sudden our body is trying to do stuff to get us back up here, and you start feeling symptoms in this area here, right? So our goal is to be able to fill up our bucket and get this line that we have to like go way higher. Like it takes a lot more stressors to get us to that symptomatic point, right? So a couple of different things, right? When we're talking about the reasons that immunity goes down, let's talk about that first. Let's talk about why your immune system will go down and you'll lose immunity, which will open you up to sickness and things like that. Let's talk about that. Then we're going to talk about the different avenues you have of your body that try to protect you. And then we're going to get into tips on boosting immunity. I'm going to give you lifestyle tips, diet, supplements, essential oils, therapies, all the things. And then I'll give you notes after this. We'll work them all up into a really good note form for you. But there are multiple reasons why your immune system will go down, especially this time of year. Number one, everybody's kids are back to school, no matter if you're homeschooling, they're in public school, private school, whatever it is. The school year has started back over. So there's different things that happen every fall. Number one, you stop moving as much as a family, meaning you're not outside doing stuff. You're not doing as many family things during the fall because schedules get busier. We get busier. So with that, number two, stress goes up. with kids having school deadlines and they've got sports schedules. And I know our oldest son is starting in basketball season. He's got games and a tournament starting up this weekend. I mean, there's a lot of things that start to happen and ratchet up. And with that increase in schedule and increase in stress, without doing things to really help it, our immune system can naturally go down. So we're not moving as much as a family. We're not outside as much like in during the fall. I mean, it takes a lot here in Texas. I mean, I'll tell you that. Like sometimes we're in t-shirts on Christmas Day. So, we get better weather overall. Back in the day when I was traveling and speaking all the time, I remember the first time I was speaking in Ohio, and I would always fly in on a Friday right after I would work a half day in the office. I'd fly out, I'd get there early afternoon, get situated, and do a dinner for either VIP people coming to the event we were hosting, or leaders of a certain organization, or whatever we were doing, right? So we were doing this dinner, and because the main event was the next day, and I remember sitting in this restaurant, and there was probably like 50 people there, and we're talking, and we're doing more Q&A. Like I love like open mic night when it comes to immunity. And speaking of which, for you guys on here, if you have questions as I'm going, just put questions in the chat box. Chase will ask me at the end. And Chase can bring up a couple of questions and we'll talk through them. I mean, I want to totally answer this for you. But I remember we're sitting in this restaurant and someone said, they go, I have a question. They're like, what do you do to really combat and help with the effects of SAD? And I go, I think I made some smart aleck comment like, I don't know, get happy, like sad. I was like, what are we talking about? Well, what she was talking about was seasonal affective disorder. And in northern states, and some of you guys logging on here, and some of you guys watch us. I mean, I have followers from all over the world. Tons of you guys understand when I say sad, you go, yes. You're like seasonal affective disorder. We don't have that in Texas. There's no such thing. Chase, I don't think they talk about this in Alabama either. This is not a thing. Like in the southern states, I don't think Florida has this. We don't talk
No,
about dealing with
never.
SAD, right? Seasonal affective disorder. It is a thing anywhere north of probably Oklahoma because the weather changes so much and the sun goes away and you get so much less sun exposure that it causes immune dysfunction, depression, anxiety, and all of these different things. And so I was like, wow, okay. And I literally had to I worked there, I worked up a whole protocol. Well, part of the stuff just became what I teach on immunity and stuff because I realized, what everybody was dealing with here is totally different everywhere else. So during this time of the year, the sunlight goes down, even in Texas, even in Alabama, where we can have, tropical Christmases. It's not the same as the middle of the summer. We're not dealing with 115 degrees and, the sun just beating down on us. And that makes a difference because the sun is really important for vitamin D exposure and for you sweating. I don't know if you've been watching, you probably have because you guys are on this call. So you had to have seen me say, post about immunity on something. So I've done several different reels talking about different hacks and keys to boosting immunity. And I talked about sun exposure and vitamin D and why that's so important. I posted like I think over the weekend, but it was talking about the way that the rays of the sun actually do two things. They activate vitamin D release in your skin, which then gets completed in the lungs and activated in the kidneys. It's a whole process, which is why we just got to be healthy all the way around. Once vitamin D gets activated, it helps to absorb calcium and it jumps up your immunity and balances digestion, balances your nervous system. It's almost a hormone. It's so important. So vitamin D is one thing that does, but the other thing, when I was doing some different research on sunlight exposure for our skin, is when sunlight hits the skin, it also activates these antimicrobial peptides in the skin to fight bacteria like in your system. And so you get these peptides that are released inside the skin because of sun exposure. Well, when we're getting less sun, we get less of all of that. That makes sense. So that can make your immune system go down. Less movement, colder weather. Heat helps with circulation and keeping your muscles loose and you being able to move helps with lymphatic drainage. That's the other thing about movement that's really important, like actual activity, is your lymphatic system. And I talked about this the other day doing lymphatic flushes and stuff. Your lymphatic system is one of the systems that deals with getting toxins out of your body. It's kind of like the trash can system, like the garbage disposal system in your body, right? And so when it gets clogged or full, or you're not moving as much and you're sitting at a desk all the time, typing, doing a lot of nothing, Well, those lymph vessels, the lymphatic system, is only flushed out by you moving, like you're swimming or you're rowing. I did a long row this morning, and that movement and moving your whole body uses the muscles to pump all the circulation. Well, the lymphatic system lays on top of the muscles, and every time your muscles contract, it pushes the lymph system down and helps to clear it out. So if we're not moving and everything, that can really affect it. Well, heat does the same thing. So when it gets colder and your muscles aren't as active and as warm, you can have problems where you're not pumping the lymphatic system out, and it can create toxicity, which is what we said, toxicity and deficiency. So if you look at all this, like look at the deficiency, less sunlight, deficiency, less movement, deficiency, right? And then we talk about toxicity. When you're getting your lymph nodes full of whatever, that's toxicity. More sugar this time of the year, toxicity overload, because you have back to school, they have back to school parties. Even with our kids all being homeschooled, they've got different they're going on different field trips and stuff all the time, and people are bringing stuff. Then we have trick or treating over the 2 weekends, and no matter how much we tell our kids they can only have one or two pieces, and how much we offer to buy their candy off of them, they end up eating five or six or half a bag. I mean, because they're kids. And so it affects them, right? Same thing with you. We have Halloween, and then backed up with Thanksgiving, Christmas parties. You have more sugar in a 1.5 or 2 month period than you do probably the rest of the whole year combined, honestly. And so with that much sugar, as you increase sugar, you decrease immunity, period. You increase sugar, you decrease digestive function, because artificial sugar goes against all of the different function of the body. So it's really important. The other thing that ends up happening because of that, in how your system starts to get off balance. We've done a lot of research lately on, what are the biggest things that are causing the body to stop working well? Is it all hormone dysfunction? Is it all estrogen? Is it adrenal glands? And all of those things are important, obviously. I mean, it's all a part of it. But one of the things that since COVID we've researched a ton that has been true to affect everything, and it's been true to affect everything from stress to hormones to weight loss, weight gain, to digestion, to immunity, to everything else, is metabolic function. And so your metabolic syndrome that people talk about is really, really important. Well, the metabolic system and your metabolism and your metabolic pathway being stable relies a lot on blood sugar balance. Well, if we're eating a ton of artificial sugar and we're not eating consistently, and we're not getting enough of the things that we need in our diet, we'll talk about that, then our metabolic system gets off. We start to have blood sugar irregularity, and then we can't process and absorb the things that we need, and we can't kick out the things that we don't. Toxicity, deficiency, symptoms, sickness, boom, over and over and over. Okay. The other thing that happens during this time of the year, and this is really important, is you have way more people, kids and adults, getting vaccinated right now than ever in the rest of the year. Okay. So in the time from like August, right around August to middle October ish, end of October, there are so many people that are getting vaccinated for different things. And a lot of these vaccines are live virus vaccines. Okay, so what does that mean? We're not going to get into a whole vaccine lecture tonight, but just so you're aware of it, if a kid or adult goes in and they get a chickenpox vaccine because it's either on their schedule or they were feeling bad and the doctor recommended them getting a chickenpox vaccine, just an example, that chickenpox vaccine is a live virus vaccine, and that kid, that adult, whoever gets the vaccine, is contagious, right? Contagious for up to 12 to 14 days post vaccination. Means that when they come out of there and they come out of having that shot starts causing a shedding effect, and they can come out and they're literally shedding the virus on everybody around them for 2 weeks. But no one stays home after they've been vaccinated because they don't have any symptoms. They don't tell them, like, hey, you got to go quarantine. That doesn't happen. And so you have people walking around Walmart or people walking around school around your kids that have been vaccinated to all these different things. Maybe it was rubiola. Maybe it was whatever vaccine they've got. And if that vaccine is a live virus vaccine, and there's several of them, you can look that up, then your kid, your spouse, whoever is going to be contagious. They can come home and bring that stuff to you. So it's a whole thing. Even if you eat perfect, you do everything right, you run a marathon every week, you're in the gym all the time, you're doing all the things, you're going to get exposed to stuff, right? So what do we do? It's enough of the things that are messing us up. What do we do to help our system work better? What do we do to boost our immunity? Okay, well, I'm going to break this down into one, two, three, four, five, six different categories, and I'm going to roll through all these different things and give you some different stuff you can do. Okay, number one category, first category, movement. All right, so if we're going to boost our immune system, then we're going to do the opposite of some of the things that cause it to go down, right? So the number one first category is movement. We need to get at least 30 minutes of intentional movement every day. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go do 30 minutes to an hour of CrossFit every day. Some of you do that, and that's awesome. Not everybody. That's not for everybody. It doesn't mean that every single person needs to run an Ironman. That's not what I'm talking about. But 30 minutes of intentional movement for you may mean 30 minutes of walking, 30 minutes of deep squats and yoga, 30 minutes of swimming, 30 minutes to an hour of rowing, something that is using multiple muscles and you're doing stuff and you're out moving. Walking is one of the best things you could possibly do. Add a couple of light weights to your hands or throw a ruck pack on with 10 to 20 to 30 pounds on it, and boom, you got a whole workout in one thing that forces so many things in the body to work and is really healthy. All right. So movement. It helps to flush lymphatics. It increases circulation in the body. Movement increases digestive function. So when that happens, not only are you getting rid of the junk that you don't want in your system. So, big hack. I talked about this on actual Halloween day. We were taking our kids to hang out in the neighborhood near us. And I just posted, on my Instagram, I was like, hey, big hack. If you're going to go and your kids are going to eat junk because it's just part of it, it's part of the fun, then feed them more protein before and move, like go walk. The great thing about trick or treating is they're walking a lot. Like ain't nobody, except for the people handing out candy are not moving the whole night. Everybody's walking in costumes at night, doing all this stuff. You're walking a long ways, which is great. So, I told them, I was like, if they're going to eat candy, have them eat it while you're trick or treating because at least you're moving, right? Because one of the biggest hacks to getting your body to assimilate sugar is to move some of the big muscle groups right after you have it. So, like for example, Tim Ferriss is an awesome author and podcaster. He's been around forever. He wrote books called Tools of the Titans and Tribe of Mentors are two of his big books. 4 Hour Work Week was his like biggest one that he ever came out with. Well, one of the things that he talks about in 4 Hour Body is doing 50 air squats. Like literally, like you go to a restaurant and you eat whatever, and he would go to the bathroom or something and do 50 air squats to fire his quads because since it's a giant muscle group, it'll help to shuttle a lot of sugar out of your stomach into your muscles because it needs it. And it really works. This stuff really works. So moving after dinner and after you eat really helps to make sure that your body's processing it. Also decreases inflammation. That help with the circulation and movement helps to get inflammation on your system. And if we can keep inflammation low, your immune system is going to stay high. It's a really big hack. All right, category number two, diet. Diet is so huge. It's not the end all be all, but it's huge to give your body what it needs. Like on this other lifestyle thing, I need to add sleep on here too. So I'm gonna put a seventh category literally while I'm sitting here because I talk about it, but I honestly just assume it. But when we're talking about diet, here's the biggest things that I want you to think about. We're gonna keep it simple. Eat less crap, eat more good, drink more water. That's really it. Now, what does that mean overall? Well, because we want to regulate sugar, this is the big culprit during this time of the year. And I harp on this all the time. I go on this all the time, but it's really true. The more artificial sugar you eat, the less healthy you are, period. The more artificial sugar you eat, the lower your immune system, period. The lower your digestive system, the more cortisol issues, the more hormonal issues. Like it just is a direct link. So, I'm not saying you don't ever eat sugar or you never eat artificial sugar, even like go for it, but do it in moderation. And if you're going to do it, then increase the amount of protein you're eating before and after. This is like a huge thing that works. Like our daughter, Baker, she's 5. She loves carbs. This girl would eat carbs and sugar all day long if I let her. And she doesn't get junk all the time, but homegirl could eat an entire carton of strawberries by herself, right? And so even these things that we can convince ourselves, oh man, I eat good all the time, but all you eat is fruit and carbs and it throws everything off balance. And then you can't figure out why your immune system's off. So this is important. So with her, what we do to negotiate with her to allow her to have some of the sugar things that she wants is we're like, hey, you can have that sugar thing if you eat that much meat. Here's your meat, either a half a chicken breast or whatever. You can have the sugar thing, then you can have protein after it, right? and we kind of sandwich sugar in the middle of protein sources. And when you do that, it helps to balance your blood sugar out, and it does really, really well. Okay. If you don't know what your blood sugar does, if you're confused by this and you don't know why you're having issues with different things, then you might need to get a GCM. You might need to get a constant, or a CGM, not a GCM, a CGM, a constant glucose monitor. CGMs, it's the thing that you install into the back of your arm. um Dexcon does these. They're really awesome. I recommend them. I don't recommend using them all the time unless you're actually diabetic and you need to know, but I do recommend using them for a period of time so that you can get a little bit of data to go, okay, when I have that thing, my blood sugar goes nuts and I shouldn't have that thing. Or when I eat this and this together, no go, right? Well, I wore one for a while, and when Chase and I were actually in Idaho, I remember I had one in, had my CGM in, and we went to this restaurant one night. We were at a conference, talking about animals and holistic care. And we went to this restaurant, and I was gonna eat bread. It was a steakhouse. I was gonna eat bread, and I was gonna get dessert at the end. And so I was testing this out. So I get this meal. There's bread at the table. I remember telling Chase this. I tracked it on you can track it on this app, right? And any spike over about 30 points or 40 points is too high. And if it spikes above 100 or 200, you're like actually killing neurons with your blood sugar. So I get in there, and I remember we had the salad before, and then I ate protein first. Then I ate the bread I wanted, had potatoes, and then I had dessert after. And because of the order I ate it in, my blood sugar barely even changed on the app. Remember this when we were at that restaurant in Idaho? Yeah. And I was like,
Yeah, it
cool.
was
So it's more,
delicious.
yeah, it was awesome. And so part of it is the order that we eat things, and part of it is the amount, right? Part of it is just the thing and your body can handle it, but knowing what to eat when and when to eat what is important. And so have your protein first, have your fiber first, have a normal regulated amount of sugar. Don't overdo it. Move afterwards. It'll do amazing things. All right. So with the diet, reduce artificial sugar. This is important. Natural sugars, your body can break them down better, right? A lot better. And so reduce artificial sugars as much as possible. When you know that you're going to be in a stressful time period or that you're exposed to different stuff, I personally recommend you cut all artificial sugar. Reduce fast food. I know that stinks. That's not as fun. If you're gonna do fast food, just do something with more protein. I mean, seriously, like just balance it out, right? So reduce artificial sugar, increase your protein intake, especially around times when you're trying to get your immune system up and you want to try to hit 75 minimum of 75 to 100 grams of protein in a day. That's not easy. It's not easy to hit that much. My goal is usually to get from 150 to 200 grams in a day of protein, and it's really hard, but that's the thing that I shoot for. On a normal day, 75 to 100 is enough. Add in fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, Greek yogurt, right? All of those are really good for digestive function and getting good probiotics in your system, which helps with immune function. It helps with digestive function. Remember, if we can keep our digestive system happy, our immune system is going to say hi. Okay, number three category. This helps a ton with immunity. It helps a ton with regulating blood sugar and helping digestion. Fasting. If you start to, there's a reason why when you start to feel bad, you don't want to eat anything. Okay. Like your body's not dumb. It's not like it's like, oh man, I just was feeling your body, right? I was feeling so bad, I just forgot to eat. No, that's not what's happening. When you are not feeling well and you have no appetite, it's because your body doesn't want to worry about digesting food when it's trying to fight off whatever you came in contact with. Whenever sat next to whatever Larry on the plane, the sick dude, your body's like, bro, I'm not caring about breakfast the next day. I want you to chill. And so fasting is one of the things that you can do to allow your body to focus on what it needs to clean out, what it needs to boost up, and what it needs to heal. Is really important. So a couple different things you can do, like starting off with 12-hour fasts is a really easy way to do this. And so like, let's say whenever you end eating in the evening, like you end eating at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, then if you end eating at 8 or 9 o'clock, I recommend a little bit earlier than that, but let's just say you do, let's be realistic, then you cannot eat again until 12 hours, 8 a.m. You don't get up at 6 and like pound cookies or whatever, right? That's important. Now, it's more effective if you stop eating about 3 hours before bedtime, right? So if you typically go to bed, if you typically go to bed around 11, then stop eating, try to stop eating at 8, and on and on, like, et cetera. If you go to bed at 9, you need to try to stop eating at 6, that kind of thing. That way you'll sleep better, you'll balance your blood sugar out better, you'll wake up with a more balanced blood sugar. But 12-hour fasts are a great way to start. Then stretch your legs a little bit, and you want to try 18-hour fasts. I do 18-hour fasts. They call them a warrior fast. I do them 3 or 4 days a week. And you basically, again, it's 18 hours from the last time you eat. So I normally try to stop eating around 8 p.m. I don't do that great every night, but most of the nights, because I go to bed around 11:30. So 8 p.m., I'll finish eating. I will not eat again until 2 p.m. the next day. Okay. So I bypass breakfast. I don't have any snacks. I'll have black coffee. That's what I like anyway. I go all the way through, and then I eat between 1 and 2. Okay. That's around an 18-hour fast. That is massive for helping with immune function, blood sugar balancing, everything else. Now, to go above and beyond that, you can once a week, once a quarter, once a month, drop in a 24-hour fast, just sun up to sundown, or sundown to sundown, like, right, like 8 p.m. to 8 p.m. the next day. Do a 24-hour fast. You can do, 8 a.m. to 8 a.m., whatever. You pick a time that works well for you. 24-hour fasts are really effective. What they found, the most effective time period for women is around a 36-hour fast. For men, it's 48 to 72, of course, right? Like 48-hour fasts are totally doable for most people. Plus, it's like gives your body enough time to really work on stuff. You don't do those all the time, but you drop those in every so often, and it helps to balance blood sugar, everything else. Balances metabolic function, stabilizes blood sugar, increases growth hormone, increases immune cells. I mean, it's awesome, right? Big deal on that. Start slow, work your way up. I'm going to go ahead and jump to the next category on his on number 7 on this, but it's technically number 4. And let's talk about sleep for a second, because I didn't put it in here because I was thinking about other stuff. But sleep itself, if we're going to talk about sleep, um, one of the things that will precede your immune system getting low enough for you to start developing symptoms and getting sickness is sleep disturbance. You not sleeping the right amount, not going to bed on time. Fall is also football season. It's sports season. It's all the things. It's, holiday party season. It's all this random stuff. So not only are you eating junk you wouldn't normally eat, being around people, that you're not around all the time, that are doing whatever they're doing. Now you're staying up till 1 a.m. or midnight or whatever the thing is, past when you should. Like, for example, the other night, Saturday night, I drove my oldest son out to a concert a couple hours outside of town. It was awesome. I didn't go to the concert. He had some good friends going. So I went out there with him. I stayed in town, got him to the concert, picked him up right after. We drove home that night. It was also time change night. So we get home at 12:30, 1, but it's 11:30. So then in your mind, you're like, well, it's only 11:30. I've got another half hour in me. And so you stay up a little bit longer. Well, now it's 2 a.m. technically when you go to bed. So the next day we were kind of wrecked on that deal, and we had to work our way back over a couple days. Those kind of things happen, and you got to like build those back up, right? So sleep is really important. Making sure that it's really dark in your room, making sure you have a sleep routine. I need to do a whole webinar just on sleep. I'll do that. We'll do a webinar just talking about sleep. But there's some specific stuff to it, but just know that sleep matters when you want to keep your immune system up. Okay, number 5, supplements. This is what people want to hear. Now, are supplements and all the things artificial or natural immunity? Well, they're natural because you're not doing it for the body. You're giving the body assistance and giving it things that it needs in order for it to do its own job. So it's a good question. People ask me all the time, well, if I'm taking all this extra stuff, is that moving from natural to artificial immunity? No, I mean, artificial immunity, what we talked about at the beginning, is when you're doing something that is forcing the body to do something, or you're doing something for the body, like you're trying to do the body's job, right? Supplements aren't that. Supplements are more of a suggestion for the body. It's also like trying to make up for a deficiency that you haven't had, or you're using it to stimulate something in the body to work. So here are some of my top supplements. Again, you don't have to write all of these down. We'll put them in the follow-up notes, but these are really important. Probiotics are key for immune function and digestive control. The probiotic we like the most is from a company called Innate Choice. We do carry it. You can get it online as well. But Innate Choice is really great. They also have our favorite fish oil, which is the second thing I'm going to recommend. They have regular fish oil, which I love, and capsules and liquid. They also have cod liver oil, which is higher in vitamin A, another immune system booster, which I love as well. It's our favorite cod liver oil. So those two, fish oil and probiotics, are important. Fish oil is good for the fats. It also just reduces inflammation. So if you can boost immunity or boost digestion and reduce inflammation, your immune system is going to go up. Period. Right? I mean that makes a big difference. Next thing that we love, and as soon as we start to feel anything come on, Cindy and I and the older two kids start taking this like crazy, and it's called Monolaurin. Monolaurin, Monolauren, is from Designs for Health. Again, we carry this as well. You can also find this online, but Monolaurin is a natural antibiotic. It's like kills off bacteria, bad bacteria and stuff in your system. Works fantastic. You start taking, 4 to 6 a day if you're not feeling great, and it helps to boost immunity and helps to support whatever you came in contact with. All right, next one, also in that category of helping with immunity, but also fighting stuff off, is the supplement called Thymex, Thymex, Thymex from Standard Process. Okay. This supplement was actually studied early on when they first came out with it years ago, long, long time ago. And when they started giving people a high dose of this one supplement, they showed that it started reversing leukemia, immune cancer. This is how powerful this supplement is. And so it's just a literal thymus extract. It's the Standard Process company way back in the day, their claim to fame back in the day was organ extracts, and realizing that glandular extracts stimulated our body's ability to do certain things. So if you took a adrenal extract, right? They have one called desiccated adrenal gland. It would stimulate our adrenals because the frequencies are similar, and you get an adrenal response and help your adrenal glands work better. This happens. Well, thymex is a thymus gland, which is an immune gland right behind your sternum that creates immune cells, and it helps to boost it up. Really effective. When you start, I think a normal dosing on it is like 3 in a day or whatever. Well, if you're starting to feel things go off, it's just it's literally not anything that you can overdose on. So, the older kids and us will start taking 12 to 15 a day and really up it to jump our immune system up, and it makes a huge difference. A Standard Process also has another one that is a capsule that has multiple things in it called Immuplex. Immuplex has multiple different things targeted at the immune system. That one's helpful. Young Living, the company that makes the essential oils that we love a ton, has a immune supplement called Inner Defense. That one's really good. It's basically like Thieves, if you're familiar with that essential oil blend in a capsule. One thing as a caution on that is make sure you eat something because it's powerful and it can really mess up your gut. And so, because it's so strong, so Inner Defense, highly recommend that one. We also work with a company called Simply O3, and they have a ozone supplement that are actual immunity capsules with ozonated olive oil. I know that sounds crazy, but it's really works. They take olive oil and they infuse it with ozone, O3, and O3 is a natural antibiotic, natural antiviral, works really great. As a hack for us locally, and I'll throw this in as a bonus and we can talk about it. If I start feeling anything off, I'll go get an IV at there's a local place near us called Drip Bar in Keller. There's several of these all over the country. But there's different IV places and mobile IV, and they have immune stuff like doing high dose vitamin C works really well. Zinc, glutathione, these are really good for immunity. Well, one of the things that they offer at this IV place, because we've done this for a long time, is ozone. They'll offer ozone. And so I'll get an ozone IV, like a full bag of ozone, and then follow it up with an immune blend. They call it the Shield, which is vitamin C, glutathione, and zinc, literally those three things in an IV. And that gets a lot of things out of the way and helps jump my system up a ton. So if you have access to any IV places around, ask them if they offer ozone, ask them if they'll do high dose vitamin C on you, and it makes a big difference. Okay. All right. So it's a good amount of supplements on that. That works for those. There's other things too. I'm not saying these are the end all be all. I'm just saying these are the ones that are our go tos that we're pulling off of our own shelf, literally, to use for us and the kids. If it's like the younger kids, our little kids, they're these Emu gummies from Young Living that honestly are amazing. Like they work really well. They taste amazing too. Like, I mean, I would probably eat a whole bag, and it probably would be expensive to do that. It's not like a regular gummy, but these MU gummies are great. We also just keep them consistent with their supplements. Like we keep them consistent on fish oil and their supplements. They're on a probiotic. I mean, like we do things like that with them. And then around this time of the year, we're just really watching their sugar intake and trying to keep them outside as much as possible. That's a big deal. Even when it's cold. Tate, our adopted son, hates the cold. And so we have to really fight him on that, but it's important. Okay, let's talk about essential oils. This is category what, 6? Essential oils. Okay, I don't care what you believe about essential oils, they work, period. There's different ways you can use them. There's different things you can do. You can diffuse them. You can put them on topically. You can drink them as long as they're Young Living oils. Really because of the purity. Like that's a big deal on it. So our top oils that we like for immune function, period, are frankincense, and then different blends. Frankincense is amazing, period, but it's really good for immune system function. The blends that we use the most in our home, NU Power blend, smells like a pizza kitchen, but it's incredible. It's a hotter oil, so you might have to cut it. I remember I was at a college football game with Harper, my oldest, this one time, and he started acting kind of off. We were out of state for this college game, and I was like, "Bro, you cannot get sick." So I took MU Power and I put it down his spine, and I didn't think anything about it. And we rolled on. Well, here in a little bit, he's like, "Dad, my back is hot." Well, it was like starting a red spot because he has sensitive skin, period, and it's a hotter oil. So we just added some different fats to it. He did great. But MU Power is really great. Thieves is a classic. It works awesome. Around this time of the year, Thieves, Clove, or Christmas Spirit, which has got some Thieves stuff in it, is probably diffusing in our house 24/7. Like we've got Thieves going all the time in our house because if you're diffusing the oil in the house, it puts it out as a droplet in the house. You breathe it in. It gets through the different alveoli and the vessels in the lungs, and you get it into your system, and it works great, right? So diffusing it with the kids and diffusing with yourself is a great immune hack because then you're getting exposure to an immune booster all day long, and all of this immune boosting stuff is building. It builds on itself. Like we're doing things to like get our system up over time, right? So that's really important. So Thieves works. You can put it on your feet. You can put it in a diffuser. You can put it in your coffee. Like a lot of people will like, I don't like doing this. I'm going to be real honest because I like my coffee to taste like coffee. But other people will do this. They'll ground their coffee, and when they grind the beans, they'll put like 4 or 5 drops of Thieves in the grounds, and then they'll brew their coffee, and they get Thieves through in the coffee. They have like and that works. Like, and they get Thieves that way. Other people will make applesauce, and then the cinnamon part of the applesauce, they use Thieves in the applesauce. They make it in the Instant Pot. City's done that a lot. That works. Whatever you got to do to get it in. Longevity is a great one. Exodus 2 is a biblical oil that's amazing for immunity. I really like. And then our other favorite one, honestly, that we use probably more often than any other immune oil is Melrose. That blend is one of the ones that we use all the time. So those, again, you can use them topically, diffuse them, whatever you're going to do with them, but it helps to boost immunity. They have antimicrobial functions, antiviral. There's different stuff. Oregano is huge for viruses. Those are different things you could do, but those all really help. Okay, let's talk about therapies as the last thing, things that you can do to help your system. And we already brought up sleep in there, and I'm going to expand this out for you on the notes thing. But with the therapies, there's different things that you can just go get done that help with your immune system. We talked about IVs. I'll add this to the list here. IV vitamins. I'm adding this so that Chase and I make sure we add it to it. But we talked about the IVs and having that close by. That's really helpful. It's a cheat code. The other things that really help with immunity, chiropractic care really works, boosts the immune system. Massage therapy, just a regular massage makes a massive difference for multiple reasons. Number one, someone's touching you, which reduces stress, like period. Someone literally touches your shoulder and touches it with intention because they like care about what's going on, like a therapist or someone who loves you. Stress levels go down. This is why hugging is so important for your kids and your family. Literally, like when like hugging intentionally, not like meh, good night, like hugging and the pressure because when you hold like Tate is a hugger, our adopted son. All of my kids are forced to hug me, but Tate will hug me involuntarily all the time. And part of it is because he needs the connection. Part of it is because when you take, he's got anxiety from his ADD. When you hug him really tight, it releases calcium in their muscles. Like you're actually putting pressure on the muscles, and it calms their system down, and it improves their immune system, just like your spouse or you. So hugging is important. Touch is important. That's why massage helps, but massage also helps to move the lymphatic system through because they're able to squeegee the things out. Now, speaking of that, under massage, I'm going to put under there lymphatic flush because I didn't put it on here. And I talked about it on my Instagram the other day. Lymphatic flushes are basically you going through and squeegeeing the lymph nodes around different areas in your neck. There's a lymphatic flush button literally above your collarbone right here. You can literally just press this, right, throughout the day to push the lymphatics. You've got lymph nodes in your armpits, your groin, most of them around your neck and ears. That's why it gets tied up in here and you get swollen lymph nodes when you're fighting stuff, right? You've got like glands in your neck that'll get swollen when you start to get sick. Rub on all those, like massage those out because it'll help to move stuff through. That's really important. Sauna. Hot sauna helps with sweating. We talked about sweating being important for detoxing and also be important for immune system function. If you can't do sauna, then red light therapy is a second thing that's really good. We've actually got a affiliate starting up with a company called Juve. They've got a great red light setup. They've got some mobile ones that are fantastic that we'll show you guys, and I'll do some different videos on them to show you how to use them. But there's different companies out there that have really good red lights now. Used to, there was not that much, but now it really does work. And that's one of the things that I talked to the people in Ohio about when I was at that dinner and they were asking about what to do for SAD, seasonal affective disorder. Well, one of the best things you can do is to get a red light therapy in your house and have it near you, right? Like, not only does it help with just like heat and circulation, but it literally boosts mood because it replicates partially the sun and it boosts immunity, right? So, this is something just having it near you. We have a big panel from a company called Sauna Space also at the house, and it's got these big red bulbs on it, and we use that. That works really well, right? So, any of these things are important. They all help, and they all boost. Dry brushing, which is like doing stuff, having like if I'm doing the sauna, I'll take a towel from the gym and rub like down my arms and down my lower legs to help with circulation because it's rougher. It's like a dry brush. Helps to activate lymphatics and activate circulation. And again, IV vitamins, like getting IVs, doing this type of stuff. Now, remember, like if you've got to do what you got to do, people are like, oh, I was just so sick. I had to go get an antibiotic, everything else. All right. I totally get it. All that stuff can happen. Every time you do something like that, you knock yourself backwards in immune function and you got to rebuild it. So if you have to have surgery, then you got to rebuild your immune system because you're on a bunch of stuff. I've had so many surgeries on this leg and different stuff over the years that Cindy and I do a ton of stuff every time I either go into surgery or out to support my immune system and to boost it back up and rebuild it. Like you got to rebuild your gut. Every time you have an antibiotic, it's really hard on your gut and your immune system, and you got to rebuild it. I mean, it's basically months to get it back where it was. And so you got to be intentional about it, right? And so that's something that you really need to look at. The last thing I'll kind of talk about is one thing we recommend, and in Chase, if there's any questions, let me know. One thing we recommend to being able to track your immunity in real time is a Whoop band. This little guy. Okay. So the Whoop band, I'm going to show you a little picture of my app. The Whoop band tracks sleep. It tracks my heart rate, tracks heart rate variability, which is really key. It tracks my recovery, strain levels for the day, all this different stuff. And it has it all in this app that like really goes through, and it's got all kinds of different data in here, right? Like all kinds of stuff. Well, one thing that I watch and that we get real specific on is heart rate variability. Okay, heart rate variability, HRV, is this important metric that is basically tracking the distance between heartbeats. Like, I don't even know how to describe how they track it, but understanding HRV is important, right? Is important because if you watch it, if I'm watching my HRV, you see how right here, this is recently, this is this week. My HRV was up here. It was at 60, which is great. That's a good level for me. And then all of a sudden it went down one, two. If it had gone down a third day, I start on a bunch of my immune stuff. I start taking Thymex. Even if I'm not feeling anything, if it goes down 3 days in a row, and if I went backwards on this and showed you a couple of weeks ago, it went down and it kept going down like 5, 6 days in a row. And I was taking a ton of stuff to jump my immune system up. If I had not done that, I would have gotten really sick. I don't know what I came in contact with, but I would have gotten it. But look right here, 1, 2, I'm doing different stuff. And all of a sudden, boom, it went up today. Okay. And then it shows your body is adapting to stress and it's adapting well and it's on its way up. Boom. That's what you want to see. When it goes up like that, and it went up 10 points. So I went from 37, which is lower for me, jump back up to 47, kind of average, and it'll go up again. Boom. That's great. I know that my system's getting back on track. If it keeps going down, I watch it and I watch my recoveries and I start working on getting those boosted up, which is really important. Okay, I saw somebody ask about salt therapy, right? Like salt rooms. They really work. They work great. It's really a lot more for like lung function and breathing, congestion, clearing out the lungs and stuff like that. But salt rooms are awesome. Salt therapy is an amazing thing. There's not as many of them anymore. We used to have multiple salt rooms right here near us, and we'd go take the kids and let them play in the salt. And these salt rooms also have like little fans in the room. You can like lay in there and just kind of chill out, and it blows like dust, salt dust into the air. So you breathe it in, and they're made out of bricks of salt. It's a couple different things. It's good for our immune system. It's good for your lungs. It's also just a frequency balancer. So when you get in there, it balances out your frequency, which is really important. There's just not as many around. It's harder to get access to them, and it's just more money on that level. So yes, helps. If you got access to it, do it. I think that's great. Any other questions on that, Chase? I know that overtime on this, which is totally fine by a couple minutes. I wanted to make sure and I took our time on these things to give you guys a ton of different information. And again, like I said, we'll work this up in a follow-up PDF to give you a reference point, so you have the different things to look at on there. Any
Yeah, I
other
think
questions, sir?
no, but I do think that one thing I want to make sure that we get out are all of the different supplements that you listed. That's
Okay.
big.
Yep.
Like I think that's huge. We'll get that typed up and sent out to, the ones that are here and then everybody else that 'cause this will be on replay. So we'll be able to put that out in notes as well.
Perfect. That sounds great. All right, you
So
guys. Well, I appreciate y'all logging on late, and everybody that watches this on replay and hops on. Thank you for following on social media. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for caring. And literally give us feedback on the things that you try off of the list. It all works. Some things work better for some people, some combos work better for others, but it's all about consistency and it's all about being proactive, not reactive when it comes to immunity. If you're
mhm.
already full blown sick, running fever, and doing all the things, and you're like, I'm gonna walk in the sun, it ain't gonna feel like it's doing much, even though it is. It's just not gonna feel like much. But if you're in the
Mhm.
sun all the time and you're proactive and you're out there and you're drinking your water, you're doing your all the things, then your body will do what it's supposed to do. Okay. So just stay consistent with it. But you guys have an amazing night. We'll get you those notes ASAP. Do I offer standard process? Yes. Brandy, we do get standard process products and we can get them for you. Absolutely. And we'll send out in the on the notes, we'll send out the link that you go to because on our website, like you can just message us and say, hey, I need these, and we'll get them for
Mhm.
you. And we can get those sent out and shipped to you and everything else. Cool beans. You guys are amazing. Thanks for logging on tonight. Have a good evening. And we'll see you soon.